Hey guys, I've had a few people message me about how to make the mask that I'm doing. I have looked at so many tutorials and I think I've found, for me anyway, it's the easiest one. I'll show you how I'm doing it using elastic, but if you want to use ties, which I've done that too, just I literally cut up some old shirts, like t-shirts, just as long as it's a jersey knit, and you can kind of pull it and it'll fold up on itself. And I don't even sew the edges. I just let them rip and do that. So, but it's done the same way. So I'm going to show you how. Let's see here. Oh, well, heck fire. Oh, I was going to say, did I use everything? Okay. So this particular mask has the interfacing. So I cut 9x7 pieces, and the elastic is 7 inches, and you'll need 2 pieces of elastic. The elastic will go on the short edges, so it'll start here, and that same piece of elastic you'll end up sewing down here, and you just sew the corners of the elastic. Okay, that sounds very duh, but I'm very duh because I don't sew, and so I learned that the hard way. So, oh my God. So anyway, let's get started. Grab my elastic. So a 1/4 inch elastic is what they recommend. I couldn't find any. It's like toilet paper these days. So I did find some 1/8 inch, no, 3/8. What is this? 3/8 inch elastic. Can you see that? Okay, so just line up your fabric as perfectly as possible. That'll save you some trouble. Okay, so the layers, the order that it is, you want the back side of the fabric facing up. So there's the pretty side. So you want that. Then you want your solid color or whatever the back of the mask is going to be. And I made a ton with the same front and back, and I didn't realize that you should have a different color for the back so they can be reused and people aren't putting funky zombie juice on their face when they put them back on by doing it inside out. And then the last one is an interface. It's just a lightweight, breathable interface, and that just gives a little more protection. Okay. So I am going to start. I know this video is not ideal. Aaron's still working, so I don't have anybody to film this for me. My professional film crew went home already. Okay, so here's what I do with the elastic. I just put it at a 45-degree angle. Okay, it's right here. And I extend it past the fabric a little bit. The reason being, I can't tell you how many I did where I'd flip it inside out thinking it's done and the elastic would pop off or only part of it would be sewn in. So I go a little bit beyond that and then I just snip those off at the end. That way I don't have to worry about it. Okay, let's roll. Let's lock and load. Okay, I do a little back stitching. I'm kind of a back stitching freak. Okay, so in a lot of the tutorials, they won't tell you to do this, but what I have found is that you get almost like an inch. If you can see this, I only have like that much material towards the end before I dig in here, and that elastic that you just sewn on that end will be under this first layer, and then just push that around and do the same thing so it's in the corner at a 45-degree angle and slightly beyond the fabric. Okay, and there's another reason I do it like I do, where I wait until I'm almost down here, because it's about impossible to sew that elastic on top of itself, you know? So that way you're only getting the corners instead of accidentally sewing the elastic through here, which I have done. Okay, and then this is going to be the bottom. This is the long edge, and you want to leave like a 2.5, 3 inch gap where you don't sew it. Leave that open so you can flip it inside out or right side when you're done. do quite a few back stitches right there, just because if you're like a bull in a china shop like I am, when you flip it inside, or right side I guess, it's easy to tear that. Okay, so I'm at this corner, so I need a new piece of elastic. Put that in, again, like 45-degree angle, so it's extending out past the fabric just a bit. And I really backstitch on the elastic so that doesn't pop out of there. Okay. And again, I'm about an inch from the end, and I come in here and I grab the elastic under that first flap of material. And you want to make sure that it's flat, you know, make sure it doesn't twist. But again, that's a reason too that I do it this way, is it pretty much writes itself. Did I already say that? Okay, there. All right, and this one you can let her rip. Oops. Whoops. Can you tell this is my sister's machine? I'm still getting used to it. Oh my gosh, this machine is so nice. The one I was using initially is like 10 years old, and even at the time it was only like $100. So this one has an automatic cutter, and I'm still getting used to it. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I got all 4 corners of the elastic sewn in. Everything's sewn except for that 2.5, 3-inch gap here. Then I go in and I sew every corner. I'm trying to show you. Again, a 45-degree angle over the elastic, just right inside here. And again, that's just to secure it. I haven't seen anybody else that does that, but I do. So. And these aren't meant to be pretty, you know. I am like major in production mode, so as long as they're functional and they don't look really horrid, I'm fine. Okay, so that's that. And just trim off. So like I was saying, I just trim off that excess of the elastic. And I will go through and trim the edges a little bit too, just because I'm anal, like stuff like that. But my neighbors are helping me, and I loaned one of them my cutting board, so I'm just going to trim the edges, all I'm doing is trimming off the thread here. And the elastic. But normally, yeah, I'll trim the edges in a little bit, just the excess material. But you don't have to. I mean, don't have to. All right. So now everything's sewn. And so you want to go to that top of the spot. Man, I didn't leave much room there. And go in between the 2 pieces of material and flip it. And here you can use your elastic to kind of pull this through too. Once you get to a certain point, you can grab onto it. I don't yank too hard just because I don't want them to come off. Yeah, I didn't leave a big enough gap, really. Should have. Bigger. Okay, so there you have it. That's the mask, okay, in the front. And of course, the only thing left, we've got that opening there. And so all you do is just fold it over just a little bit. And then sew that whole edge. And I sew this pretty close to the edge here. Backstitch it a little bit. Okay, that's it, guys. There you have your mask. And again, it's 9x7 material and 7-inch strips of elastic. And oh, that's that. But then we have to do the pleats. Ooh, I hate doing this. Anyway, so you want to pleat it, and what you do is you just grab it like this and pleat it again, and pleat it again. So you'll have 3 pleats, and you want them to be about the same size, the same, you know, the same height, whatever. And a lot of people will pin these. I'm a spaz. I don't like wasting time doing that. So I'll literally fold it like this, put it on the ironing board, and put the iron to it right away, and just iron the crap out of it so it's as crisp as possible. And then you'll want to sew the edges here, just right at the edge. And another tip, make sure, at least for me, this helps a ton. It depends on how good your sewing machine is maybe, but on my old brother, that thing kept getting hung up. So if you try to sew it going this way, it hits those flaps. So go this way. That helps a bunch. It's a little tip that I've learned. And once you do that, that's it. You're done. All right. Let me know if you have any questions.